What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to go over some levels. Looking at this on the 1 year chart on QQQ, we were up at $574 per share, and now we are finally getting that pullback that we were talking about. This is nice. This is healthy. It's normal. When you look at the trends, you can look at the overall big picture. We pulled back on QQQ 4%. Not a bad pullback. I think we have a little bit more waiting to do. Let's wait until we get a pullback to this yellow line right here. Pulling back to that yellow line would be about another 2 to 3% pullback. Not a big deal looking at this. Now we're going to look for our entries. If you're going to be dollar cost averaging long term, looking to buy in this yellow bar, or if you want to be super patient, which might take months, would be buying down here or around over here. So QQQ, a little pullback. Let's see. It's always interesting to look at when you have a pullback like this to see how much the individual stocks pull back, because just a 4% pullback in QQQ, but we're going to go over some big names that have been really pulling back. We'll start off with Meta. Meta, looking at it on the long time frame, it's not really that scary. It's doing a lot. It's doing very big moves, which is excellent. And then you start looking at some of the pullbacks here. We had that 4% pullback on Meta on QQQs. Now it's pulled back around similar 4.6%. If we pull back to 700, that would be a 10% pullback. And in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty nice entry considering your April entry at 480 up to $784. That's not a bad pullback. Next, looking at Google. Google is trading in the middle of this channel right here. We went over this, going over this level on the WAP. On the 1 month chart, I do like small entries around the yellow, but we may have a little more downside coming, so let's be a little patient. Let's see if we start dribbling down maybe to the 180s. When you look at the overall pullback here, it's about a 4% pullback. Immediate trades, I'd be looking to see if we get a rejection of the 190. I think this is setting up nicely. You had a little consolidation in this area around 189 to 190. If we can get a pop up to the 190, consolidation, and then rejection down, that would be a nice short opportunity on Google. Looking at NVIDIA, NVIDIA pulling back 184 all the way to 172. Pulling back here 6%. Let's look for a move back down to about a 10% pullback to 167. Why is that level marked off? Because you can see right here that there was resistance around 165 to 168 in this zone here. Let me just mark it off for you. Resistance right there. Gap fill from 166 up to 169. Now we're approaching that level. We had a retest at 169 right there. So naturally, I'm going to be looking for a re-entry, a long position around this 166 area for a push back up. That would be a healthy pullback. Profit taking, nothing wrong with that. Bulls looking to get back in after a healthy pullback. Also, looks similar to your SMH ETF, except you are below this level. So you definitely want to be cautious. You definitely want to make sure that if we get that pullback, look for that 174 range. That would be the next level that I would be looking to hold. Let's see if SMH is going to start trading within this range now. That'll let you know if you should be going bullish on semiconductors. Moving to Tesla. Tesla is somewhat breaking out of this range. We had this trend right here, which looks like a giant bear flag. If you look at it, I mean, you kind of had this movement forward. You had the big move up, the big sell off, and now it's consolidating. And is it just going to start going down? Now, it really depends on the actual story that Elon tells. The numbers don't look good looking at the financials. The margins are getting squeezed. The revenue is decreasing, the cash flow. It all depends how well he can sell this robotic story to the Tesla boys and see if they will continue to buy. I think when you're looking at this, I think the line in the sand for you should really be like this 285 to 290 level. I'm wondering if we are going to get a bounce on this. Now, let me know what you think about this. This is something I've been thinking about. I'm just going to draw it out in the drawing mode. Sometimes you'll have a move like this where this would be A, and then right here is B, and then you're going to get the pattern where this forms a C, and then the D that comes is going to be this move up. So it's going to, if it holds the 290 and starts pushing forward, that would be your move. Let me know if that's what you're seeing on the chart. Now this doesn't mean it's going to happen, obviously. And then your D would be up here. I'm just trying to draw it up here. Here we go. It would be like right up here because you'd get this movement coming up. Now obviously this still has to happen, and it's not going to move in a straight line like this, but that's kind of what it would look like. So you have A to B and then C to D, but I think the only way that happens is if we get that bounce off of this 290 level. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. AMD had an amazing run, and it's up to 185, pulled back. I think what you need to see is just watch this level here. Is it going to keep holding? What I kind of see here is a mini bear flag. If the market goes soft and starts going weak, which it is right now, the bears are definitely going to try to push this down, and I don't blame them. It looks like, I mean, look at this. You had a nice 185 down to here. The volume is decreasing, as you can see, and now we get the sell-off where AMD continues to just kind of float lower. So I would be interested in looking for a short position to the 160 right here, to this level right here. So definitely interesting play going right there. I just want to make a quick side note. Crypto's even pulling back. So you look at 4,000, basically round up on this. 4,000 ETH, it pulled back to 3,300 just over the weekend. And even XRP, 3.66 all the way down to 279. I started adding some more in my Gemini crypto portfolio. If you want to get that link to sign up to that, that's in the description below. Next, let's look at Amazon. Amazon really sold off 240s, but you got to look at the overall chart. I mean, the overall chart here, you had an insane, amazing bounce from April to 160 up to 235. A pullback, a little steep after their earnings, to be honest, but looking at it here, that's an 8% pullback. If we can pull back to 14-15% to 200, I'm going to be a buyer in this range. I like seeing that we could potentially pull back to the $200 whole dollar level. That's a psychological level. We were trading within this zone, and then it just kind of consolidated, and then boom, big sell-off. So the way that you would trade this, that I would look to, is look at this level here. Right in this zone of $220 per share. The entry I would like is a push up to 220, consolidation, and then failure back down. If the market is truly weak, that's most likely what I'll be looking for. Now you got to use Qs to be looking for that move, but that would be interesting to me as well. Let's look at PLTR. This stock only knows how to go one way, and that is to the moon. It is at 160. Pullbacks, same thing, 125. And congrats to all the PLTR guys. Microsoft is topping out around that 560, pulling very deep pullback, tried to bounce back, but from 562 down here, it's a 7% pullback. Look for a move to 500. That is where I would start to dabble. But this is a great example of looking at your trends, how it's trading within these three lines, buying these dips on these yellow lines. And then look, once it gets above the red, it just started floating above from 500 all the way up to 555. Got a little overzealous there. RSI was 75. Now it's starting to pull back. Give it some time. Be patient. I have shares down around 350. I'm just watching. If we get a real pullback in Microsoft to like 450, I'll start adding in the long-term portfolio. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. So just pay attention to that, all right? And Intel is really getting interesting here because Intel at $19, $18 is something. I'm sorry, $18.5 is something that I'm interested in. We pulled back all the way to $24, all the way down to 22%. And if you watch my videos, you will know that I always talk about how Intel is such a dangerous stock to try to trade. If you're going long on it, it just seems like every time I go long on it, I die on it. That's why I just leave it alone at this point. But pulls back, you really have support that's trying to hold at this 18.6. You have multiple touches here. So just be cautious here. Watch it. Let's see what it does. It's a stock I'm going to stay away from, but I just wanted to bring it up to you guys. Chipotle, this is a stock that I like to eat at the restaurant, but when it comes to the stock right now, this is what I see. All right, so it's a stock I like. I didn't think this would hold anyway, $42. I just see it as a point of contention because you have right here. But I am not going to be blind to the fact that Chipotle, over the last, since 2020, has been riding this curve. This is what it's been doing. So I am interested at potentially the $40 range. But what I'm really interested in is if we can break $40, that is going to be beautiful. Because at 40, I'm going to set alerts around $40. If this trend line breaks, which I don't think it will because it's a multi-year hold, but if it does, you are going to get Chipotle to really sink real quick, maybe to like $30. So this is something I have to wait and see for it to play out. It is currently doing this. This is currently what you have. It is trading within this trend. Whether you like it or not, if you're a bull, that is the pattern that you are trading in. So you are, just be cautious. We are trading like this right now. Look for lower lows. Look for that $42 to break. That's the first support level. Then retest 40, which is going to be this line. If we can get that drag down to $35, I'd be interested in buying. All right, guys, that's all the stocks I wanted to review today. If I didn't review it, please leave a comment in the section below. I will review it for you. Appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos, and please hit that like button and subscribe.